Welcome, 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 and thank you for tuning to Nick on the Mic. I'm your host, Nick, and with me is my co-host, Sir Gio Trades. How are we feeling today, Gio?
Very good, Nick. How we doing?
I mean, I can speak for all AMC holders out there. We are feeling very, 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 very good, right? I mean, we had a very, very good day. I think it was almost at one point was 35% increase in stock price.
Yeah, from yesterday's close, absolutely. We had a high of 1420. We didn't close at that, obviously, but we did close above VWAP right before close. We dipped below it during after hours, and then we did see that bounce back right before close, ending the day at 1287 in after hours.
Yeah, as of right now, it is May 14 at 2 a.m. And I correct me if I'm wrong, but Germany actually just had their market open, right?
Yeah, so Germany's they're live and trading. Stock
Oh.
is currently trading. If you do the conversion, it's at $13.40 in dollars. So it's at 11.12 in euros. So Germany's moving. I'll say that.
We love to hear that. And before we jump on AMC, I just want to get a little intro of us. I mean, this is our first video. I mean, you could look at to the screen in front of you. You could see our social medias. My name is Nick Andrews, and I actually graduated from Illinois State University with a double major in accounting and finance. So I have a little bit of finance background, but I plan actually to get my CPA and the next upcoming year. And I actually luckily got a full-time job at RSM in the Chicago office. So that's my spiel and everything. Gio, if you want to talk a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Gio Taibbi. I go by Sergio Trades on Instagram. That's my trading page. And I've been trading for 4.5 years now. Started in late 2016. I was a freshman in college. Had no idea really what I was doing at the time. But I started out on Robinhood. I was fairly new at the time. Didn't really like the whole mobile thing. I wanted something more than that, so I hopped on Scottrade. Started learning, the gist of trading and picking up some strategies and everything. Originally started with long-term trading. Noticed how my portfolio wasn't, growing as much as I wanted it to. Got into swing trading, and then eventually I picked up day trading when I got my account built up to at margin levels, let's say that. And since then, graduated from ISU with a finance degree in financial planning minor in 2020, May of 2020. So for the last year, I've been trading full time, and I plan to be doing that for a long time. I'll say that.
Yeah, and I have to give my gratitude out to Gio because he is the first person to eye open me on passive income and investing. I mean, Gio, I think I'm first time investing was 3 months ago, but Gio's been trying to get me on this for a year or 2 years.
Yeah, I think it's been 2 years now, at
Yeah, I
least.
know, and I
Yeah.
finally got in on a hopefully the hottest one yet, AMC, and like you see it right in front of you in the title of the video is AMC for Dummies, and this is not to be pointed out to people that don't know the situation or anything like that. It's just try to make it as simple as possible and informal as possible because we just want like everyday people. I mean, I don't know if people have been on Twitter's frequently, but it is the number one. I think it was number one, right? AMC short squeeze. That was the number one thing trending on Twitter today. So
Yeah.
I want to
And
open
then
the
I
eyes to
think it got
people,
moved
right?
to number two, right?
Yeah, it was at number two at one point, but I think it reached number one at one point. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but it was top trending top five. I mean, it's crazy what the movement is. The whole Wall Street gang, shout out to them, all the gorilla apes out there that are behind the GME, AMC. There's a bunch of people behind this move. I think it's almost 10 million.
Yeah, it's like it's the biggest hedge fund in the world. Let's put it that way. And it's all retail investors. That's the beauty of it.
Yep. So before we get started, I just want to make this clear and cut, and so you guys all know I put on the four corners of this. We are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. Like I said, this is trying to get the everyday person to eye opening into what is going on in AMC because this is a historical moment in stock market history. I mean, I know you
Absolutely.
have been trading for 4 years, and I mean, have you seen anything
And
like this?
not at all.
Yeah.
I've been for 4 years. I've been trading. I've taken maybe a dozen days off of the market. I've literally traded every single day, just about. Maybe I'm not even kidding. Probably 12 at most, 15 days off. And in my 4.5 years of trading, there's never been something like this. I'll say that.
Yeah, and what we want to do is possibly eye open the people. So let's go into it. Why AMC? So Fundamentally, yes. Last year, bankruptcy was on the table, but now it is completely off. They diluted all their debt, and a lot of people are saying no one wants to go to the movies. Well, for the last two earnings calls, they're beating revenue. They're beating food and beverages. I think food and beverages is almost 30%, an increase in 30%. I mean, the revenue projection they have is almost insulting, would you say, Gio? I mean, 2.5
Absolutely.
billion.
You got to think like, we grew up going to the movies, right? We grew up going to GameStop, and to target, especially people our age this was one of our favorite places to go to on the weekends.
I swear
We,
it
us as
almost
retail investors, we cannot see one of our favorite chains go down.
yeah.
And that's why this fight has grown as big as it is, today.
Like you said, Gio, like movies have come a thing of the past, but AMC is at this highest liquidity in all of 100 years. I mean, you you can't deny that. I mean, what it is right now is very, very strong, and it's only going to be stronger as more movies come out. Very, very, very fire movies are actually coming out. Actually, I know the new Top Gun's coming out, and a lot of new Marvel series are also. I mean, 99% theaters are open as well. Everything's looking strong for AMC financially, fundamentally. It's looking great. I mean, now finally these SEC and the DTCs are ruling and cracking down on these hedges. I mean, we will elaborate more on that later on the video, but there's 5 rules that need to be passed for us, and 2 have already. I think specifically 8001 and 0001. You can look those up on the DTCC website. I think we actually have one pulled up, but if you can, I think they're like a 75-page document. I mean, it's crazy. How big these are is because we'll get later on the video, but these synthetic shares that are manipulating the price need to be counted on a daily basis, and it's cracking down, right, Gio? I mean,
Right.
this
The
shit is
books,
not doing anymore.
the books essentially need to get balanced at the end of the day, and that's what these rules are pretty much being enforced for. It's also so that these big institutions like BlackRock and several others aren't affected. When these hedge funds are forced to liquidate their other positions, these rules they're waiting on are basically to save them, because it's not their fault that Citadel and all these Melvin Capital, all these other hedge funds put themselves in the situation to not only affect them but also the entire market as a whole.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then today, Adam Aron tweeted out the share offering. AMC just announced that in 2 weeks we completed our 43 million share at the market equity raise. We got 428 million more cash prior to commissions and fees, which clearly puts AMC in a strong position to tackle the challenges and capitalize on the opportunities ahead. This is quote from Adam Aron on Twitter. You can look it up yourself. I mean, you don't see a CEO tweet out to their AMC holders like this. I mean, I think specifically Trades just got a call specifically today. If you want to check out another big person that is on the AMC movement, he actually has a lot of shares into AMC. And he actually got a call from the CEO, Adam Aron, saying today about all good news about this share offering, and it's only looking brighter because last month AMC actually came out and actually says they have enough cash to sustain operations until the end of 2022. With this 428 million, we're seeing 2023 easily.
Easy, exactly. And you got to think they position themselves into no longer being a short-term investment. This is long-term now. You got to think that as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, when this short squeeze happens, I will not be pulling out of AMC. It's not just a nostalgia.
I mean, obviously you're gonna unload some of your shares, but they're gonna see a lot of people holding and becoming long-term investors in AMC, especially because I'm expecting a dividend to pick up as well.
Yeah,
once it's been done with.
Yes, I agree. So now more on the less on the fundamentals. Let's talk more about technical. Gio, if you want to please elaborate on this more.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm just going to break down the basics. If you don't know what's going on, the reason this whole movement started is because a group on Reddit known as Wall Street Bets and their leader, I'll call him Roy and Kitty, kind of cracked the code on how to beat these hedge funds. And that's by pretty much massing together and basically creating a retail investor hedge fund, and that's what is happening right now. It's happening with GameStop, it's happening with AMC, it's happening with several other tickers, costs to name another one, and pretty much this group, this hedge fund, I'm gonna call this group a hedge fund, is attacking AMC because of what they're trying to do. And what these hedge funds are trying to do is essentially bankrupt the company, because they know if they can bankrupt the company with their short positions, they don't have to buy back those shares. And if they don't have to buy back those shares, they don't have to pay taxes on those shares, because they're essentially lend shares. And that's what these hedge funds have been doing all these years. They did it to Blockbuster. They did it to Toys R Us. So a lot of our childhood, stores. Obviously, you've gone to those stores growing up, right, Nick?
Yep. It's tragic. I mean, it's awful what these
And
hedge funds are doing.
and these retail investors just don't want to see that happen to their favorite movie chain, or their favorite gaming store like GameStop. And that's pretty much what's happening here. So what these hedge funds have done is they found other ways to manipulate the stock by issuing synthetic shares. Another way to put that is naked shorting. It is illegal, but they still do it, especially the market makers like Citadel. Another tactic they use is shorting the stock through attacking ETFs. So what that is essentially a group of stocks that contain either AMC or GameStop, and they'll short that entire ETF to drag down the price as well. They also use the dark pools that retail investors don't have access to. So you actually have to be an institution to be a part of that or use that system. So that's what they've been doing. They've been using short ladder attacks left and right, down tick, up tick, hitting the bid, hitting the ask, and they've been trading these shares left and right with each other. So that's why you're seeing these it's almost like an algorithm, downtrend or uptrend, and it's none of it looks realistic. So I've been analyzing stocks for 4.5 years now, especially the last two years, and I've never seen price action like I've seen with these stocks. And I'm sure you're new to it, Nick, but I mean, from what you're looking at, especially when you started, you got to be saying the same thing.
It's honestly crazy. I mean, especially when you get into more technical what it is now. I mean, please elaborate on some of these statistics. It's honestly crazy how manipulated this price is.
Yeah. So what we know is basically for the last couple of weeks now, I know it's been over probably a week and a half, 2 weeks, 100% of the lendable shares have been utilized. So the stock should not be going down if they're not able to short the stock using real shares. What are they using? Synthetics. We know that there's a 3% turnover rate. So 97% of buyers are not selling the stock. They're holding onto it. Pretty much the psychology of what's going on here with trading doesn't make any sense. And that's why these hedge funds are losing their minds, because they've never seen investors with buying shares of a stock, dropping it 20, 30% and not selling. What are they doing? They're holding and buying more. They're growing their positions. The stock will jump 20% like it did today, 23%. Nobody's still selling. I think the turnover rate maybe went up or to like 4%, maybe 5%, but nobody's still selling because they know what the outcome is here. Just as you know, another thing I want to talk about is how, as of right now, they're saying this is from Ortex, right? The 75%.
Yeah, this is via Ortex.
Yeah. So what they're telling us is that 75% of the float is owned by retail investors. I'm just going to be straight up with you guys. That I think is very, very conservative. I think it's anywhere from 90 to 97, 98%, if not over 100%, because you got to factor in the synthetics that they've been doing. And again, that flow of the stock is what's left after you factor out what the insiders own and what the institutions own. One more thing I want to point out. This is the big one. This is the 217% short borrow fee rate, and that's the average, right?
Yeah, that's on a 360-day basis. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah. So that's the average. I mean, at one point it was like 243, right?
Yeah, I think it was at 243. I think that was the highest it got. It's honestly crazy how much money they're losing in interest.
And you got to think, because the short borrow fee rate on AMC alone, I think last week was under 30%. It was like 25.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's not 200 plus, you got to think there's no reason for a short seller to want to short the stock when it's that high. There's absolutely no reason.
Gio, the borrow rate tripled in a day.
It did, right? Yeah.
It did. It was at like 27, 28 consistently, and then it jumped to like 88, 90 at one point. It was honestly crazy.
And then with the short interest, this is from Vortex too, right? Is that from Fintel?
That is actually from Fintel.
That's from Fintel. Okay, so they're saying that the short interest is 22% of the free float. That's another number statistic that we cannot confirm that because we truly don't know. That's not factoring what's with the synthetic shares. So that number could be, you could add another zero to that, to be honest, if you factor in the synthetics, because we truly don't know. We don't know if the total outstanding with synthetics is a billion, could be 1.5, could be over 2 billion, which I honestly think it is.
Yeah, definitely.
What's your estimate? How many shares do you realistically think is out there?
Realistically, easily a billion. I think guaranteed a billion. We hear, I think now they have it at like what, at 99 million, 100 million shares.
Yeah.
There. It's crazy. Honestly, it's all these numbers that we are giving you right now are to date as of May 13 yesterday. But these are very, very conservative. Like we said, this is straight manipulation. Specifically, some of these interest rates. You know, I mean, it's honestly crazy.
Yeah, and then so something that's has probably been all over Twitter lately. It's a lot all over stock tweets as well. Is probably you've been hearing is FUD, right? A lot of people don't know what that is. So FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And this has been a hot topic lately because hedge funds have been pressuring this on AMC, on GameStop. You've been seeing articles left and right, on Motley Fool, on Market Watch, of nonstop fear and pressuring of investors to sell their shares, making it think like AMC is actually going to a penny, like one analyst has them at, which is absolutely ridiculous. What we know is that there's no more shares that are going to be authorized. So there was actually a 500 million authorization that got wiped off the table at the previous shareholder meeting by Adam Aaron. So dilution's over. We know that. There's nothing literally holding AMC back from being at the price that it should be at, and we all know it's undervalued. If you're looking at everything, the financials, the positioning of the company, the fact that 99% of their theaters are open, there's no reason for AMC right now to be under $20. And I'm saying that with everything that we know.
I would honestly say 30. I mean, I understand when that did mini squeeze happen back in February, it did raise up to 21, but I just think it's honestly crazy that it's priced at $14. I mean, it's a fire sale, people. This is crazy. We're dumping into the engine. We're fueling that rocket. Almost launch. Almost launched, Gio.
Almost there, yeah.
Almost launched.
So one thing I do want to point out, if you're looking at the chart today, whether if you're looking at your phone or your desktop, whatever platform you use, if you notice the chart today, AMC traded well above the 9-day EMA, even the 25 for much of the day, up until it hit that peak at 1420, which was at, let me see what time that was at. That was at just after 1. It peaked at 1420, and then it dipped below not only the 9 and the 25, but also got below the 50, and then was never able to recross them up until after hours today. So one thing I do want to point out is that we have broken 2 key resistance levels today that we haven't seen since March, because we were up to the 35% at one point, and now that only key resistance level that we do need to break is at 1454, which honestly, would you say it's coming tomorrow? What do you think?
I honestly, I think a lot of volume tomorrow. Margin calls should be coming very, very soon. I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow. Honestly, if it breaks the 1454 resistance, let's see 20. Let's see 20 tomorrow. I'm optimistic, but I feel it, Gio. I don't know.
Something we didn't even mention this earlier. That DTCC liquidity test was actually happening today. So we get the results on that tomorrow morning. So honestly, that's something to look out for too.
Yeah, that's true. I honestly forgot about that. It was at phase 3 of the liquidity test.
Yeah. This was the final one. Yeah.
Yeah.
This test was scheduled for August. So the fact that they're doing it now, that says something as well.
Yeah, and like we said, like volume was, I think it reached up to 300 mil today.
Yeah, 200 mil. I think it was 296. Yeah, very close. And we haven't seen that type of volume in months, right?
Yeah, FOMO is starting. People are starting to be eye open to what is happening with AMC stock. They are waking up. They are seeing the trends on Twitter. They are seeing the CEO tweet out. This is just the beginning. 10 million, I'm saying. Wall Street bets, 10 million strong. More and more people are dumping. Not only are people holding their shares, but they're dumping even more money into the shares. This is just the beginning, like I said. So
exactly.
Now, on a financial basis for these hedge funds, this is not sustainable. This is not. Equity is diminishing by day, and it's coming from interest and as well as their initial investment. I mean, let's just talk about Citadel specifically. I know Gio talked about the hedge fund.
You're taking
Citadel.
this from Trey's, right? From Trey's page?
Yeah, Trade Trades. Shout out actually Trade Trades. A very, very good YouTube channel. One of the biggest gorilla apes in this AMC movement, actually. Yeah, he's very informative. He's very good technical analysis. I highly, highly doubt check his page if this is not clear cut enough. We get into a prime example for one of the hedge funds that have kind of a short position. We're going to do a little conservative in estimate. This was via Trade Trades, one of his videos. Gio, have you seen this video that he posted actually?
I have. Yep, I have.
Yeah, and this is just a conservative estimate. Like we said, Citadel has $30 billion in equity. So an estimated 20 million shares shorted is a very, very, very conservative amount. And we're going to give it at a price at $10 at a 5% short interest. Like how we said earlier in the video, the average short interest is almost 217%. I mean, this is very, very, very conservative number. I want to reiterate that because all these estimates are very, very conservative. So from the initial investment, they are losing $200 million right off there. Then we get into the short interest. On a 1 month basis, they're losing $24 million. 3 month basis, they are losing $72.3 million. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, that's almost counting the initial investment in the short interest. This is almost a percent of the equity. You know, this is crazy. I mean, and when the price hits, I like to reiterate one more time, when the price hits 25, they will pay $200 million. And when it hits 100, and it will hit 100, they will have to pay $2 billion. This is like pretty much what I'm trying to say is this is not sustainable for these hedge funds.
Not at all. And you gotta think, Nick. These hedge funds they're trying to figure out, who's gonna get margin called first, who's gonna cover first. They all want to be the first ones out because if you're last, what's happening? You're paying the highest price possible, and a lot of these hedge funds can't afford to do that because they just don't have enough, capital and liquidity on hand. So a lot of them are going to go under. The ones that are going to pay last are going to go under, which I personally think is going to be Citadel, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Because, I mean, they're just full agreed. I feel like this specific hedge fund doing this for too goddamn long. Finally, we're cracking down on them. I see a class action lawsuit coming in the future for them. But
100%.
But for a conservative estimate, like I want to reiterate, it's a conservative estimate. BlackRock has 27 million shares right now. And they don't even have close to the $30 billion in equity Citadel has. So, I mean, just do the math. This is very, very conservative for 20 million shares.
Yeah, so they own, I think, 6% of AMC.
Yeah, it's crazy. And what do you think Citadel shorted?
In my opinion?
Yeah.
I think they've shorted. Well, you got to think or factor in the leveraging they've been allowed as well. So, in my honest opinion, I think they had over 100 million in shares shorted.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. Easily 100 million.
It could be more. Honestly, it could be more because if you factor in how many synthetics are out there along with the real shares, in my honest opinion, it's 2 billion. So if I'm only giving them 100 billion, that's what 5% of what's out there.
Yeah.
It could be 10%. It could be 200 million. We don't know. So we'll find out on June 2nd for sure.
Yeah. So what possibly could save these hedge funds? Liquidation. And they have done it. I think they're at phase 3 right now. It's just not working for them. The only way they are going to sustain their equity is covering their positions. That's the only way I see it out. I mean, Gio, do you see it any other way?
At this point, no, just because of how big of a hole they've dug themselves in.
Yeah.
You got to think that, like I said before, if they want to be the first ones out. So I'm guessing these rules that we don't know exactly, but we're waiting on these rules to get passed, and it's kind of gonna pretty much assure. Obviously, the Fed's working with SEC and the DTCC, and they're all trying to figure out who's going to cover first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they need to figure out, which hedge fund's going to go first, which one's going to go last. But when the DTCC's, buying up all these shares, it's all going to be computerized. It's not manual covering, right?
Yeah.
So whatever's there, they're gonna have to pay for it. So if somebody's buying, is trying to sell us a share of AMC, let's say at 150, and the next one's not until 180, they're gonna have to buy that at 180, and it's gonna keep going up and up and up. You see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, it'll just be like computerized, almost like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the computer, all it knows is that it has to buy them back.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna fight over a couple cents or a couple dollars. If that order's there and it's set and it knows it has to buy it back, it's going to eat it up.
This is only better news for an AMC holder, right? I mean, this is looking so well. Fundamentally, technically, right now, financially, this is not looking good for the hedge funds. I mean, only if you're an ape out there, a gorilla ape out there you're an AMC holder that has a lot of shares, keep holding. And a lot of even some of these people that have been holding this position for 4 months now keep unloading. You know, they keep loading up more and more and more shares. It's crazy.
Yep.
So now what always the emoji rocket always is popping up. So what is this short squeeze? Gio,
Yeah,
please.
so the short squeeze, essentially, how it happens is when you get a heavily shorted stock and a lot of buying pressure coming in. So, for instance, with GameStop, you had Wall Street bets, the whole movement storming that stock, and this would happen early in January. So it actually started with a gamma squeeze. That's why it went from 20 to 30 to 40, then eventually 60, 70. And at that point, the short sellers on the stock gotta realize that they're already losing so much, and they don't want to lose more. So what they'll do is they'll buy back those shares and give them back to their lenders. But when they buy back their shares, they're also increasing that buying pressure. So what's that doing? It's also driving up the stock. So back in January when they did that, not only did they flip their position from short, from shorting the stock to actually they flipped it from short to long. So that's why the stock went from 60, 70, and then the next day shot up to 150 or 160, is because those short sellers became bullish players as well. And now that we're about to see that with AMC once we crack that heavy resistance at 1454.
And like we said, we think the shares outstanding is 2 billion. So they might have to cover 1 billion shares. You understand what that's going to do to the price?
Yeah.
It's going to be like a fucking rocket, people. This is going to be so volatile. We'll never see this in stock market history. I think
they'll be talking about this for decades. I promise you that.
You ever seen The Big Short? Well, this is The Big Short squeeze. So yeah, but so how did we fight it? How did we fight this short squeeze? We hold and buy, and Wall Street bets. I have to give out a shout out. 10 million strong degenerates, and this is like a mini hedge fund, like Gio was saying. It's a comparison of like a little mini hedge fund fighting all these hedge funds, and we won. The FUD is done. The fear, uncertainty, doubt is done. And so possibly the next question would be, is when is it possibly going to happen? Gio, do you have any possible, projection on when it possibly happen?
My guess is between May 21st. This is just my guess. I'm not saying it's going to 100% happen, but my guess is between May 21st, because that's a massive option expiration date, and June 18th. So that's the window I'm giving it. But I'm more towards leaning towards June 2nd after that weekend, because we do have the share recount, and also what we know so far is that there's over 3 million shareholders in AMC. So that was announced on Twitter by CEO Adam Aron, and my guess is that each shareholder has anywhere from 200 to 500 shares, and I think it's more towards like the 400 area. How many would you say on average that each shareholder has?
I would have to say 400 or 500. If it's 1,000, a shareholder, this is going to be crazy, Gio. I mean, this share recount is huge. I personally think the June 2nd day is probably going to be the start of the liftoff. I think right after we find out how many outstanding shares, how big this short squeeze will, because this will be a big projection into it, right? We will take those outstanding shares and we'll be able to project how big this squeeze is, right?
And you got to think, say this is what we're predicting or estimating, that there's 3.5 million shareholders. I honestly think there's probably around 5 million, but let's just say there's 3.5. You give each one of those 3.5 million shareholders 400 shares on average. Guess how many shares outstanding that amounts to? Guess, Nick.
1 billion?
It's not 2 billion, but it's 1.4.
Oh my God.
1.4. That's 3 times the amount of shares that should be outstanding. And if they got to buy back every single share that's not only been shorted but also the synthetic ones, that could take them weeks. And if that takes them weeks, this would be the longest short squeeze of all time.
I see a market cap in the trillions. I'm telling you, Gio, I see a market cap in the trillions. This is going to be huge.
I do too. And I did the math. I did the math today. And in order for AMC to achieve a market cap of $1 trillion, their share price has to reach a share price of $2,029 per share. And that's after factoring the 43 million at the equity market or offering that was just completed and announced by CEO Adam Aaron. So if this breaks $2,029 per share, which it can, it surely can, especially if that synthetic amount with the real shares is well over $1 billion. There's no reason AMC won't be $1 trillion company at some point this summer.
I agree completely. And if you are trading AMC, please, we are not financial advisors, and this is not financial advice, and we're not telling you to go buy AMC.
Not at all.
We're not. We're just trying to open the people, the everyday people. You possibly might have seen AMC trending, the short squeeze on Twitter today. I think it was at almost like two or one, right? Yeah.
There's number 2. Yeah.
We're not.
In other words, we're just sharing, not only just public knowledge, but also, our perception on, what we see going on here and our thoughts on, and what's happening here.
Yeah. Because Gio, I mean, you've been following it for almost 4 months now, and I got in about like 2 months ago. We're not familiar with the stock.
I bought in. I initially bought in the 14s. I bought more in the 13s. And I honestly, that was my heaviest positions when I bought up there, because I thought this was going back to the 20s after it reached, I think, 20, 25 something back in, late January. So I held through the 6, through the 5. And I didn't sell, just like a lot of people like me in the same position. I wasn't scared. I knew what this was becoming, and I held straight through that. And I'm glad I did, because now I'm profiting on my position.
Yeah. And because we're giving you such good, such praise in this AMC stock, but the media continues to bash this stock, and it can't be trusted. That's the main reason why I formed a podcast is to give you real news, because a lot of this media is not hitting correct evaluation on AMC stock, and I don't know if the hedge funds is working with the media. I don't know the details on all that, but it's just not to be trusted. And it's specifically a broker like Robinhood that's heavily Citadel's heavily invested in. And the halt trading that we saw back in February wasn't out of the ordinary. That was planned, So if you do have shares into Robinhood, it's not too late to buy into from another trading platform. I highly recommend TD or Webull, but everything's each your own. Like I said, it's not financial advice.
I just want to clarify this. If you do have shares on Robinhood and you don't plan on selling, you plan on holding, do not sell them. You could just transfer them to another broker you have. It might take a couple business days, but by selling them, you're giving the shares that these hedge funds need. You get what I'm saying? So don't sell them and rebuy. You're better off just transferring.
Yeah. So, we call this the short squeeze. We call it the rocket. What do you see the ceiling at, Gio? Be honest with me. What is your own opinion? Like we reiterate, no one knows the ceiling. No one knows the floor. No one knows when this is going to happen. If they did tell you, they are lying straight to your face. But honestly, your own opinion, what do you see the ceiling at of this price per share?
If these total outstanding with real and synthetic
$2 billion
is $2 billion, there's a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, that AMC could surpass 100,000 a share.
Yes, and I agree. I try to be the most conservative, try to be the most realistic price, but more and more news each day tells us that this stock is going to be the most violent short squeeze we have ever seen. And I don't know how else to I don't know, to paint a picture or anything of a rocket, or this thing is going to the fucking moon.
It's once in a lifetime, because you got to factor in hedge funds will never make this mistake again. They know that the biggest army they're going against is the retail investors, because this group, Wall Street Bets, can attack any stock they want and do this.
Yep. No more.
So they know
naked shorts.
The market, I guarantee, will never be the same once this is all said and done.
I agree. So, did you miss the train, Gio? Did they miss the train?
Not quite yet, but it is getting very close. I'll say that. We are weeks, if not days, away from this happening. To be honest, they cannot push this past July. I cannot see this going past July. The absolute latest I could see this going is probably the end of July when there's that shareholder meeting. But you got to factor in the massive, options expiration dates coming up. You got May 21st, and then you got June 18th, where you've got, I think, 50, 60, 70,000 contracts that are honestly already in the money. So if those FTDs, happen again, it's like adding to the fire. That's all. We're just throwing more wood into the fire and throwing more gasoline into the rocket. Because all it's doing is it's just stretching it. And the longer they carry this out, the more synthetics they print, the higher the stock's going to go.
Yeah, they're shooting themselves in the foot. It's bleeding
Big
out.
time. Yeah.
The deer is bleeding out, whatever you want to call it. It's fueling the engine. You did not miss the train, people. Like we reiterate, this is not financial advice, but you did not miss the train. If you do decide, please do your own due diligence in possibly investing into AMC. Do whatever you have to do. Like we said, shout out Trade, shout out Matt Kors, if I'm pronouncing that correct. But yeah, great, informative. Maybe if this video isn't too cutthroat to you, check out their YouTube channels. They'll have more on it. But so, what can we look to come, especially with our economy, interest rates? Please elaborate on this, Gio.
So first things first, we got 100% hyperinflation is coming. With the pandemic and everything, the amount of money that was injected in the economy through the multiple, not just one, stimulus packages of billions and trillions of dollars. The Fed's estimating inflation to be anywhere from, I think, 3 to 6%. They're lowballing the hell out of that. The reason why is because if they go any higher than that, they're going to have to raise interest rates.
Yep.
And they don't want to raise interest rates because they can't afford to do that.
Yep.
If they raise interest rates, the economy is just going to collapse. First off, the stock market's going to collapse because if interest rates rise, all these big institutions are going to pull their money from the equity market and go straight into debt and crypto markets because, one, with the debt market, you're getting higher interest rates. You're also getting a more secure investment, so way less risk. But the crypto markets, they're all booming right now. Especially, Bitcoin, Ethereum, just look at all of them. A lot of these cryptos, you're also getting interest on. So that's another reason they're doing that. But you also got to factor in what's coming because after this whole thing carries out, there's going to be a market crash. I guarantee you it's coming. So many people are getting ready, especially these hedge funds, to liquidate the portfolios. If you've been following my page, a lot of people that have, especially those that are going to listen to this, I've been calling these phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. We are actually still in phase 2. Phase 3 is when AMC, let's say, hits $20 or $30 or $40 a share. That's when you're going to see all these hedge funds begin liquidating and going long on AMC because then they're going to realize what's happening. And when that happens, you're also going to see more retail investors joining, and you're going to see FOMO kicking in. But like one last thing I want to mention is the safest investments you think right now, like the Amazon, the Netflix, the Facebook, the Microsoft, the Google, are actually going to be probably the most riskiest. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true because those are the most heavily held in these hedge fund portfolios. Yeah. So when those get liquidated, they're all going to tank.
Yeah, and just in the next couple of days, like we say, we're just fueling the engine. This is not on liftoff yet. The rocket has not took off. You can still get your popcorn. You still get your 3D glasses, whatever you need. If you do, like I said, we want to reiterate this. This is not financial advice. If you do decide to invest into AMC, please do your own due diligence because the meme stocks are thriving, and this is very irregular to the market. This is, we're doing the inevitable, we're doing the, what they did not think was happening. What standard old investing strategy is no longer off the table. It's gone, and it's Wall Street bets changed the game, honestly. So
100%.
So if you do buy, please. Oh, I just lost the last trade. So if you do buy, please be patient. I know so many people text me this morning. Oh my God, only $2. Oh my God, is this the squeeze? No, people, please be patient. If you're really gonna see the squeeze, you are gonna see. Fuck 30%. You're going to see 500% in just a day. This is going to go so volatile, so crazy. It's going to be almost a vertical line. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And
and everyone's going to know it's happening because everyone's going to be talking about it. It's going to be all over social media. And then my best advice is if you don't want to stare at the screen all day, you don't want to stare at your phone, just set alerts. Set alert for 20, for 30, for 50, for 100, whatever you want to set your alert at. This way, when it hits that, you can actually start looking at it.
yeah,
But until then, it's not going to happen. So don't expect this to happen overnight. It won't. It's a process. This whole thing is a process.
I don't know how many days you've stayed from looking at the chart from market open to market close, but I did that yesterday, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a very, very, very exhausting day. So I do recommend, if you do decide to watch the chart tomorrow, or if you do decide to watch it in the next couple of weeks, please do actually put that, because I don't highly recommend watching the chart all day. You'll kind of go crazy.
Especially one more thing I want to point out, especially if you're not day trading the stock, there's no reason to be doing that.
Yeah.
If you're just in this, if you're in this for the squeeze, there's no reason to just be staring at the stock all day. I do it because I'm looking at other things. I'm day trading other stocks that's what I do. I day trade.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to drive you crazy because if you're just expecting the stock to go to 50 or 100, instantly, it's not going to happen. It won't. Especially during trading hours, you're going to see the most movement, like I said before, during pre and after hours, because the SEC is they're unable to halt the stock for volatility. But during pre-market, during pre-market and after hours, the stock can jump $50, $100 in a matter of seconds, and they cannot halt it. So
it's crazy. It's crazy. But I like to end on this note. We're going to talk about a couple of the catalyst dates coming up, and big moves coming to AMC in the next upcoming month in June. But I mean, come on, I love to end on this. Like I said, Trade's one of the big gorilla apes that are on this AMC movement. Actually got a call from CEO Adam Aron today.
You did,
Quote me. I want you, please actually do watch the video and him actually saying this. He said, short sellers should be shitting in their pants right now. I don't know what else. I mean, what else company does this? Like he's putting it all on the table. He's behind the movement. It's honestly crazy. I've never seen a company, never seen a stock like this ever in my life.
Yeah, so, he knows he's going to be a big time billionaire after this. He knows that.
So here it is for a couple of these catalysts. I don't know if you have it up, Gio, but we just talk about.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Just a couple of these right off the bat. I'm telling you, 002. It was actually 002. Actually, is next one up the list of being passed. Passing before June 21st. That is huge. Official share count June 2nd. People mark that on your calendars because that's a very, 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 very big day for people. Let's talk about a couple more of these. $2 billion in liquidity, bankruptcy off the table. Over 3 million individual shareholders. It's growing by the day. I think it's at 3.5 million right now. Hedge funders compounding FTD and short interest. It keeps accruing every single day. It keeps going. AMC is the number one shorted stock on Market Watch. And I think it's on a couple of AMC is the number one highest squeeze rating also as well.
Yep. It's the most held stock on I think 3 different brokerages.
Yeah.
Robinhood's, TD, and I think Webull.
Yeah. So I mean, just these catalysts alone. I mean, this speaks volume for AMC. Like we say, what is it traded at? $13 you said in Germany, or $12.77 it closes at. This is a steal, people. This is a fire sale. This is not liftoff. This is just the beginning of fueling the engine. I don't know how else to explain this. And this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to go buy AMC. I can't explain how much this is not that. It's just to be informative. I just want just the daily person, just not that knows too much about investing. Just don't know what is going on with AMC. I know you posted a lot on your social media, Gio, and I know I've been starting to post it in the last couple months, but
I've been talking about AMC for obviously months now, since January.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I thought this whole thing was going to carry out in late March, in early April. With the quadruple witching day. So you've been following my page, right?
Yep.
And everyone thought it was going to happen March 19th, and then that week after, and then it was like April 12th, and all that whole time, what's been happening is they've been injecting more synthetic shares into these shareholders' pockets and stretching that rubber band.
Yep.
So you got to think, if this was supposed to happen 2 months ago, imagine how many more shares they illegally released.
They were shook. You know how many shares? I'm telling you, it's in the billions, Gio. It's crazy. the market cap is going to be almost like Apple. It's going to be $2 trillion. It's going to be an insane number. There's going to be so much volume, so many people buying. I'm telling you, the FOMO has already started. Hedge funds are going to cover.
I'm going to be honest with you, there's a chance AMC could be a 10 to 50 trillion dollar company after this.
Yes.
There's a chance. I'm not saying it's going to happen. There's a chance.
It is. I mean, it's going to be a long-term investment. I honestly believe it. I'm not just for nostalgia, but I might still own a couple shares of AMC after this.
Nick, did you want to talk a little bit about the exit strategy or no?
No, I think we're going to save that for another video. But I did want to also talk about tomorrow. Gio's actually going to go live on his trading page at sir.geotrades. Please actually tune in. The market opens at 8 o'clock Central Time. Please, if you are up and you are waiting for this video and you did just actually watch it, I'm probably going to get it before the pre-market. It's like 2 a.m. right now, so I'm going to try to go ham with the editing and everything right now. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Gio, for great technical analysis. Please, if you are up tomorrow and you are interested in the video, it did catch your eye, maybe it was an eye-opening video for you. If it is, please go follow our pages at Nick_on_the_Mike and at sir.geo.trades. Please.
And one more thing I want to share is give us your feedback on what you thought of this. We'd love to hear from you guys. Yeah,
100%. In the description below will definitely be our socials. I know we posted another on here enough, but we're going to put in the description below our socials. And please, if you do, like Gio said, please give us constructive criticism. We'd love to hear your input. If you still think AMC is overvalued, or you think it's at a share that like it should have been a year ago, please, we love to hear it. I mean, we won't agree with you, but we love to hear it. Yeah. So
absolutely. Hey, Nick, I appreciate you having me on today, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. This is going to be an ongoing journey with AMC. Hopefully this video is not just starting tomorrow and the short squeeze happens tomorrow and it gets so short, but we're going to have, in the videos coming up, we have some exit strategies, some tax mitigation on these capital gains. Very, very going to need it. If you are an AMC holder, definitely going to want to tune into that video.
And then I think we should cover a little bit about the debt and then crypto markets as well, because I know those are going to be popping.
Yes, because I don't know about you, Gio, but after AMC's big income boost, I'm definitely going to be diving into the crypto market after this.
100%. Yep, I agree.
Yeah. So thank you so much for tuning to Nick on the Mic. I'm your host, Nick, and with my co-host, Gio, Sir Geo Trades. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Gio, anything last thing?
Just don't miss the rocket. That's all I'll say.
Don't miss the rocket, people. This is not financial advice, but don't miss the rocket.
Don't miss the rocket.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Nick. Have a good one.
You too.